So, hope I didn't keep you waiting too long. That's right, I'm finally back with a continuation to my pitch for a new Strawberry Shortcake generation, Shortcake! And wow, a lot's happened in the last 7 months. My whole channel's been updated, I've somehow only put out 4 more videos, and most importantly, the berry's back! Remember how I said Berry in the big city had been sitting idly with no big announcements for a while? Well, I guess she's dead, because we instead got a reveal for the next generation of Strawberry Shortcake. And Miss Berry's going back to her roots, sporting her classic 80s design with a few tweaks to her hair and face, and I think it all looks fantastic. Her tight curly hair, uses of red again, and the 3D model just looks great, and I can't wait to see how the others look in their newish, oldish looks. Especially Lemon Meringue, this is about to be a next generational level of slay. What isn't slay though, is Miss Berry here already using AI! It's been 5 minutes, girl! In their defense, what I assumed happened was, they had asked for promo material for the collaboration with the Roblox game, Cake Off, to which possibly someone from that team had provided this image where they had posed the in-game models and poorly photoshopped the Berry Bitty Adventures eye shapes over them. You can literally see the original model's eyes peeking out. Then they might have just AI upscaled the image to try and smooth it out and look better. I mean, the background is definitely generative AI for sure. Just look at those weird ass strawberries in the back. But I don't think the characters are, and I do believe this whole thing was a bit of a slip up. But this whole side tangent is just to say, the fact that AI was seen already has people worried about the productions and integrity of this generation, including me. I hope this was just a one-off mistake and we don't see it going forward, because this is already squaring up to be a really cute direction for her. And I mean, they deleted this post and haven't repeated the mistake yet, so we live and we learn, I suppose. But back on topic. As expected, this video is a part 2 of my Shortcake series, so I recommend you watch part 1 to get a catch up of the lore of this gen and our favourite Berry's new group of friends. You can watch it right now by clicking on the button in the top right corner, or the link in the description down below. Or, you know, not. You could just watch this video on its own in the back while you do work or something. I won't judge, I do it too. As hinted last time, in today's part, we'll be finishing off our cast of characters in the Berry's main friend group, and we've got quite a few to get through today. Because of this, and for the sake of time and my sanity, I won't be doing alternative outfits and dress-up sequences this time. Each character is only getting one main outfit. Like, I know I'm insane enough to include dress-up segments and animatics in my videos, but unfortunately I had to put my foot down on designing 3 outfits each for 6 characters. That's 18 outfits in one video. I don't even own that many. Have you seen me wearing anything other than the yellow vest? Either way, with that all explained, and only a slightly padded intro, see, I'm getting better at shorter intros, guys. How about we hop right back into the world of Shortcake and pick up where we left off. Kicking off today's cast, we have someone who was actually supposed to be in the first part of the series, Raspberry Torte, a reoccurring character and rival to our beloved Strawberry Shortcake. I can't really pick one specific reason as to why she got cut, especially when I already had a concept narrowed down for her and ready to go. But either way, I'm happy I did wait, as I think her refined looks turned out a lot stronger and more iconic. For Raspberry's concept, I wanted a bit of an opposite to Strawberry. Someone who's a bit more glamorous but also sharp and blunt, leaning into a bit of a mean girl archetype, to kind of match her original personality, where she had more of a sharp tongue and blunt honesty. She's got textured hair being thick and wavy, similar to Berry in the big city, tied back into a large ponytail updo, a cute cropped cardigan over a strappy tank top, some low-cut capris, topped off with some cute pink strappy platforms. I did want to give her tighter curls like her OG hairstyle, but I've already done that for like 2 characters, so for the sake of silhouette diversity, wavy hair it is. As for the colours, I tried mixing multiple generations palettes together. I do love the original's pastel pink and greens, but the magenta feels like such a unique colour while making her distinct from Strawberry, who was always repping the red and pink. Talk about greedy. Plus, I've got the tan for Berry in the big city, because looking at her older artworks, she did kind of have a slight tan going on, and I think it looks nice on her, so it stays. Also, you might have noticed, she looks heavily different from her original concept, which kept her more sporty glam aesthetic that I was a big fan of. Well, that's just because she's actually got 2 outfits. Ignore my previous comment about characters only getting 1, she's the exception. I always loved Raspberry being a bit of a sporty girl of the group, but at the same time, I get the appeal of her being very glam and fashionable, so I thought it made sense to combine those aspects of her into 2 outfits. On days where she has sports practices, she'll braid her hair tightly, wear a cute fleece over a tank top, some glam cargos, and another set of strappy heels. You'll only ever catch her wearing trainers when she's jogging or running on the track field. But with that all explained, how about we hop into her character? Raspberry is one of the lucky characters that got to appear in each iteration of Strawberry Shortcake, probably because she makes for a great counter to Strawberry herself, leading to actual conflicts and debates among the group, rather than everyone just getting along happily and holding hands. And I wanted to carry that over in my take. Some would say Raspberry's not optimistic, rather just realistic. Others would say she's not outgoing, rather just forward. And only a handful will say she's not mean, rather just too honest. Just a berry who's grown up in Fizzle Cove all her life and made quite the impression on others. You'd think with the way people talk, no one likes her. But surprisingly, she's quite popular in school. Tall, pretty, and an up-and-coming track star, as well as dedicated to her extracurricular activities such as theatre and charity drives. She's gained the attention of many people and even has fans, being known as a bit of a bitter berry. And while trying to be humble, she does enjoy the notoriety quite a bit, which might be why she feels she can speak so honestly and rather blunt to people sometimes when giving advice. It's not intended to be mean, it's just sometimes hard to read her tone when she feels a little closed off to the world, a problem she doesn't really have with her bestie, Bread Pudding. The two are practically inseparable at the hip. When there's a track practice, he's there cheering her on with fruit smoothies on standby, and when he needs someone to stand in for school plays, Raspberry's first at the scene to act as his clothes model and muse. Although, to be fair, their school production of The Tempest was genuinely moving last year. They seem to just click, understanding one another's sass in ways others don't. But it's not like they were always the bestest of friends. In fact, they hated each other back in elementary school. No one knows how it started, but they were fierce rivals that couldn't be in the same room without fighting. It was only after both experienced the loss of a parent within a similar time frame that everything changed. Whether it be wanting to support one another, or hating the pity others gave them, they were two sides of the same coin, and so chose to have each other's back, which has been going great for them to this day. If you ever do catch them apart, chances are they're still texting away at each other, as Raspberry never leaves her Nokia N73 alone. I don't have a fruit pun here, she just gets a Nokia. Despite being seen as a mean girl by the group, she's pretty chill with the other berries. She knows of Plum and Pudding being Bread Pudding's step-siblings, and actually quite likes Plum's music. As well, she has a very odd soft spot for Orange Blossom, always interested in what she's getting up to or brings to a conversation, even getting distracted while watching her skate around town, and tries her best to time her jogs around Orange's already random schedule, just for the chance of bumping into her alone. Wonder what that's all about. She doesn't have time to figure that out yet. That's a Season 2 problem. Her current problem is Strawberry, Lemon, and Huck. Huck for being best friends with Little Miss Strawberry, so therefore an enemy. Lemon for being best friends with Huck and Strawberry, although she's also a little too quick with her digs and keeping to herself that annoys Raspberry. And of course, Strawberry herself, who Raspberry views as a rival. Similar to Berry in the Big City, I like Strawberry and Raspberry having a bit of a back and forth rivalry. Despite being everyone's favourite berry, she isn't Raspberry's to much confusion. You think someone so sweet and social would be pretty cool with one of the popular girls in school. But to Raspberry, she believes she sees through the facade. No one can be that sweet and kind without wanting something in return, or rather, using others. She's not being true to herself with all this talk about gardening and baking treats to share, which, to an extent, is a little true. But she hates seeing people put up a fake front. Just say it how you see it. This has led to a bit of a one-sided competition, with Raspberry trying to one-up and prove herself to the other. But to Strawberry, she just sees someone being a little competitive and awkwardly trying to become friends, or at least she thinks. Which, hopefully the two would eventually become. After a long heated rivalry, they're both finally honest with themselves and what they really want to do between each other. Strawberry wanting to pursue fashion and not be everyone's anchor, and Raspberry maybe liking acting and writing more than running, and just wanting to have real friends that actually invite her along to things. Of course, they'll have to work their way there, but I think a Rivals to Friends is a cute development and a fun first character arc for each of them. And here's Raspberry all finished up.
Why did you bring him here? He is so annoying. Wow, rude much? Hey, I'm here too, don't make a big thing out of it.
And I just love how she turned out. Her face and makeup are so pretty, and her outfit is just really simple and cute in a way that jumps out to me. I do think I maybe could have hid her fruit motif a little better, as I think the berry hair tie feels a little too on the nose, whereas the cardigan berry feels way too subtle. But I don't know, less is more sometimes. Either way, I'm happy with her glam look, but also can't forget about her sports look too. I think this one turned out great as well. The colour balance feels a lot nicer, much more bright and pastel like her 80s design, which also helps differentiate between a casual and sports look more, especially since I think sports clothes tend to be a little more vibrant and saturated. However, I think both look great on her, and I hope you like her too! Since I've already mentioned him, how about we follow up with Raspberry's bestie, Bread Pudding? But only his close friends and family call him that, so it's BP to you. Rumour has it, Bread is actually just a nickname, and his real name is Breadden, but you didn't hear that from me. For his concept, I wanted to keep up this flamboyant, dramatic character, since I think him and Raspberry having a bit of a Sharpay and Ryan dynamic from High School Musical would be really fun. Which even reflects in his fashion, being inspired by that one golf outfit Ryan wore. He's got a bread flat cap on the top of his well-styled hair, a lavender buttoned-up shirt with a green ascot underneath a V-neck purple diamond jumper, tucked into his corduroy trousers, rolled up at the ends to show off his matching socks, and chunky loafers. And for his colours, I kept it safe, sticking to the browns and purples of his original look, since brown ties into bread, and the purple makes for a good connection to his step-siblings, the Pudding Twins. I also threw in some green to give him a little connection to Raspberry, kind of like how they're both wearing Argyle diamond patterns, something he picked out for them. I also made his skin tone a little warmer, as I felt he was quite pale bordering on greyish, and thought something more saturated would look nice, as well as unify the colours a bit better. But with his concept all explained, let's hop into his character. Now, some of you might not actually recognise who Bread Pudding is, as he's actually a new character just recently introduced in the last generation of the series, Berry in the Big City, something I know a lot of you didn't watch. But I loved his addition to the show so much, other than being the new male kid added, which hasn't happened since the OG series. And mind you, they changed Plum Pudding's gender, so we've only had Huck as the single boy of the group for years. He just bounces off the rest of the cast really well, being flamboyant, snooty, and actually witty. I think he just fits right in, kind of like how Ginger Snap just worked in the 2003 cast. And just like Ginger Snap, he will also probably never appear again, which makes me a little sad. Wolverine, please don't forget about these divas. The world needs them back more than ever. Anyway, getting back on topic. I didn't want to change too much of Huck's personality, mostly because I thought he could act as a fun counter to Lemon. So he's still the same sharp-witted and flamboyant pudding you know, always putting up walls and playing on the defense as to not let others in and get the chance to hurt him. His fashion is something he takes great pride in, being proud and bold from all the usual layered shirts and straight cargos he sees every other guy wear. His closet is full of trendy, sophisticated, and patented clothes that he loves to come out the house wearing. Okay, if you're not picking up the hints here, Bread Pudding's gay. I'm proud of it. He knows he's different, and that doesn't stop him from being who he is, even in the community of Thistle Cove. But this series is set in 2006, and even though he has a strong and supportive network from his family and friends, he still feels the occasional judging stare and words thrown his way. But to him, fashion is his passion, never really finding interest. Oh my god, bug! Oh, that was going so good! Why'd you fly into me? But to him, passion is his fashion, never really finding interest in sports other than jogging with Raspberry or supporting her track. So whether it's designing for school plays or repairing thrifted clothes to be donated for one of Raspberry's charity events, he'll do whatever it takes to hone his skills and get out of Thistle Cove, and hopefully make it to the Big Apple and work for a real fashion house. But he's still in high school, and doing okay at it, so still got a long way to go to achieve his dreams. A dream he feels is threatened by Miss Strawberry Shortcake herself. While Raspberry might hate her for personal reasons and rivalry, Bread hates Strawberry for trying to steal the center stage in his life. I mean, this girl turns up one day, unannounced, wearing an incredibly identical getup to him, flat cap and all. He started that first. Then she bothers his bestie by irritating her, not to mention having no interest in fashion, but always pointing out flaws in the way she'd do things, until she decides she wants to join the fashion club too, the one he's been keeping afloat and involved with school events and activities. While a complete misunderstanding, Bread is too focused on himself to really read Strawberry, and therefore gets thrown off easily by her. Something even more baffling when his step-siblings, Plum and Pudding, start vouching for her. But I mean, if they vouch for her, and even Raspberry eventually does, then maybe she's gotta be okay. Either way, they have a sort of arm's length sort of relationship. Bread lost his father when he was still young, something he still doesn't like opening up about a lot. But his mother only recently remarried within the last 2 years, specifically to Plum and Pudding's father, making them all step-siblings and now living together. Small break, but I mainly did this because I liked how both Bread and Plum had the Pudding surname, And instead of writing it off as a common last name in that world, I thought it'd be cute to just have them be related, and make for a more interesting dynamic. The whole situation was a little tense, to put it lightly, with Bread not entirely open to the idea of a new figure in his life, let alone two random kids now here. However, despite all the outward expressions and interactions, Plum and Pudding are his family, and he's willing to go to any measure to defend the two. Just because he might say Pudding is overbearing and Plum's a little too quiet, doesn't mean anyone else gets to say that about them. Watch your manners. He's even close enough to let Pudding use his sewing machine from time to time, making whatever charms and fabric plushies she has ideas for, and in return, Plum lets him use his computer to look up different sewing patterns and ideas. Doing a little bit of side businesses here and there, from patching up clothes to selling his own experimental fashions at markets, he saved up his own money for a flip phone, and it's a similar model to Lemon. And just like her, he uses it to keep up with the latest gossip and drama surrounding Fizzle Cove, even sometimes exchanging information with Lemon, since they're both usually at the scene of the crime, catching it at different angles. They still got disdain for one another, but they're more alike than they realise. But Huck does get on his nerves for being another unpredictable force of nature, especially his outfit. Like, come on man, a baggy t-shirt over a shirt? What is this, the 90s? And his bread pudding all finished up.
What does that fool have that I haven't got? I mean, look at me. Shortcake. Oh, admit it, Sardon. You know you missed me.
And I really love him. He turned out a lot cuter than I was expecting, and really does give off someone with a heart of gold trying to act mean. His jumper turned out great, and I love how the purples didn't wash out the browns. Although, at the same time, I do wish I could have worked in a few more green accents, just to complement his ascot a little more. But look how cute the bread hat is! Doesn't that make it all worth it? Either way, I think he's great, and I hope you do too. Our next character is none other than another shortcake, specifically Strawberry's little sister, Apple Dumpling. For her concept, I had a bit of a dilemma to choose between, as I didn't know whether to make her a baby/toddler again, or do what 2003 and Berry Bitty Adventures did and age her up to a young kid, so she could interact more with the main cast and their adventures from time to time. What I wasn't going to do was just make her the same age as Strawberry, but actually a random childhood friend that got left behind when she went to the city, who's also orange instead of red. I didn't know how to segue this better, but I just don't like this design and I think it's a bit mid. Now you know. Either way, I decided to make her a kid again, to open the possibilities to different episode ideas and storylines. With Strawberry being 15, I thought it'd make sense to make Apple 9 to 10 years old, and currently going through a bit of a cowboy phase, probably stemming from her missing a country life, even though their village didn't have cowboys. For a look, she's got a big cowboy hat, some short curly hair tied into two round apple-like pigtails, a turtleneck under a blousey top, a denim skirt, tights that I changed later to knee-high socks, and some matching red cowboy boots. For her colours, I genuinely struggled picking a palette, because balancing the yellows and greens is a lot harder than it seems. Oh, okay, Dr. Seuss. We got you on the mic today. Like Strawberry, I thought it was important to pop the red the most, mainly because Apple is based on, you know, an apple, and those are red and green. However, we do have some realistic colours in there, like the blue for the denim, since I do want to keep these colour schemes fairly realistic, but still vibrant. I kept her ginger hair to match her Strawberries, and made the undershirt green since it looked nicer as an accent, while making the blouse yellow as I thought it'd draw the eye better for attention. Ultimately, I took a lot of inspiration from Apple Bloom, especially since I don't really know how to design younger siblings. Like, I'm the younger sibling of my family, so how am I meant to know how to design another one other than wearing clothes I would have wore? I dressed badly, there's no way that'd pass for design, so instead, why not base it off a popular little sister character that I know? But with a concept all explained, let's hop into our character. Apple Dumpling is the new girl in town, after Shortcakes made their big move across state to the shores of Fizzle Cove, and she's reluctantly excited about the whole thing. Unlike her big sis Strawberry, who seems upbeat and ready to tackle the new location, Apple isn't. She actually quite liked their old home of Berrywood, and all their family and friends there. Being a kid, she doesn't really understand the reason for moving like Strawberry would. All she got was Mum wanting to help Auntie Eaton out, and likes to stubbornly remind her family they can always move back at any minor inconvenience. While she can be very dramatic at times, Apple is usually a typical fun-loving kid, with a big imagination and a sense of adventure. And while she may miss home, she's also no quitter. So, adorning a cowboy hat and boots, this dumpling swears to take on Fizzle Cove as the sheriff that drifted on in. Her outfit is very cowboy themed, especially her yellow blouse, which has a cow print design on it. Apple likes to take part in a variety of activities and hobbies, from playing in the garden with her duck, dressing up, and baking treats with her sister. She does a lot with Strawberry. The two are super duper close, and always supporting one another, even when she messes up, like with gardening or tidying up her room. However, since moving, Strawberry's gotten a lot busier with school and her new friends, with the two sisters drifting apart a little. But to Apple, it just means she has to grow up faster, so she can start doing older kid stuff too. Then Strawberry will have to invite along to things, right? Don't get it twisted. It's not like Apple is totally alone and has no one to rely on. After all, she has her own friends, that being Orange Blossom's younger brother, Citrus Twist, and the ever so sweet Cherry Cuddler. The trio are always up to something, from performance pieces to entertain the family, to selling Scout cookies at an inflated price to pull maximum profit. What can I say? These kids are business savvy. Apple's favourite mode of transport is her bike, which she's customised with stickers and a basket on the front. One day, when she's older, she'll love to have a real cool motorcycle, kinda like her Granberries one. But she's gonna need to wait to be older before that happens. Until then, riding a bike is basically training for the real thing. She's already got her training wheels off too, so how hard can it be? Oh, just wait until she finds out about driving tests. As for a communication device, she doesn't have one. At most, she has a Nintendo DS with PictoChat, so as long as she's nearby another user, they can text. But unfortunately, until she's 13, she's not allowed a phone, which is like totally unfair. And here's Apple all finished up.
One step ahead of you. I knew this day would come. Yeah, that's what I meant. I would use the money to make more money.
And I think she turned out super cute. Cuter than I expected, or planned really. I love how round and apple-like her pigtails are. And I think she's got a fun, cheeky expression going on. Her outfit is an outfit. I'll be honest, I'm not sure exactly what the goal was and whether it was achieved. Like, a turtleneck with a blouse isn't a bad combo, but maybe the colours and patterns I used weren't the best. All this to say, I kinda made a second alt with a better top design, because it was bugging me that much. And I don't know, would you guys say this is an improvement? Or should I maybe just stick to making it look like the kid dressed herself? Psst, hey, today's video is sponsored by, well, me. If you've ever wondered what I get up to between videos, since I kinda just vanish offline until the next upload, sorry about that. Well, now you can find out over on my Patreon. Each tier will give you access to all the behind the scenes bits that go into the making of, well, all this, including sneak peeks at videos, scrapped concepts, animatics, and occasionally some mini videos breaking down characters' laws or relationships that end up getting cut out from videos due to time. You'll even get to see some exclusive art from time to time. And for 10 quid a month, you'll even get your name featured and read out in the video. Like these lovely patrons. If you're interested, be sure to check it out. Any support at all means a lot and helps the channel keep going. But I've kept you long enough. Let's get back to the video. Next up in our cast, we have the return of a very special character who hasn't been seen since the 2003 era. Why, if it isn't Ginger Snap? Despite being a beloved new character, I gotta put new because let's be real, it's 2003, that's over 20 years ago now, she never actually returned in the series, due to the changing of hands and the franchise now taking a more fruit-forward theme, going into Berry Bitty Adventures. Which I could understand, but you know what bugs me more than her getting skipped in one generation? Getting skipped in 2 generations. Berry in the Big City clearly didn't stick very hard to its fruit theming with the cast. Look at Bread Pudding, where's the fruit there? And they even brought back some previous generations characters. So riddle me this, Wild Brain, where's Ginger Snap at? She was just a tomboyish inventor type who was best friends with the Berry Squad. What did she do to get this ignored from a franchise other than be cute and have fun? Anyway, I want to remedy that. So I'm bringing her back to Shortcake. For my concept, I'm keeping the tomboy look, but twisting it a little bit to match the more seaside setting. She's got short, choppy black hair with a yellow headband, although I can't lie, I do go back and forth about giving her a ponytail because it feels wrong not giving her some sort of extra hair, like pigtails. She's got a choker and necklace leading down to a big baggy tie-dye hoodie over a yellow striped tank top, some puffy cargo shorts, cool leg warmers, topped off with chunky trainers. As for colours, I don't entirely know how I feel about them. See, Ginger's OG design was a lot more blue and pink with yellow as an accent, but I don't know, I kept finding the blue to be overpowering as a main colour, as well as making me think about blueberry, so I ended up making the accent the new predominant colour, being yellow, since I thought yellow and beige were more like gingerbread colours. But I also don't know how to feel about that, since I now think the yellow makes her look like a different treat entirely, like citrus or cherry. Either way, long story short, I've made some alts so we can pick between the better colour combos at the end. So don't pay too much attention to my colouring, I do kinda go back on it. But with her concept explained, let's hop into her character. Ginger Snap is one of Strawberry's new friends, running into her from time to time while visiting her grandma, before Huck later properly introduces the two as his skating/surfing buddy. She's got a whole cool vibe surrounding her, being energetic, confident, and unafraid to be herself. And while Strawberry thought she was being rebellious by dyeing her hair, Ginger here took it to the next level by having a belly piercing at 15. Although it's not like she did it on her own without permission. She actually struck a bet with her parents that if she could get top scores across all her subjects by end of term, she could pierce her stomach. However, unbeknownst to the Snaps, their daughter is a lot smarter than her casual demeanor lets on. She knew she couldn't just focus and improve her grades immediately. That'd give away just how serious she was, and her parents would probably back out. So, strategizing, she picked and targeted what test and assignment she'd specifically have to ace, while studying in secret, slowly raising her overall grades so it looked like she was improving, but still a long way off from getting perfect, and giving an acting performance for the ages, pretending to go about her usual schedule of band practice and surfing, instead of focusing on the books. And before you knew it, bam! A stunning report card with A+s all across the board, and teachers more than ecstatic at Ginger's commitment to school. It was after that, her parents started to worry a lot less about her. Their daughter was incredibly smart, with a clear knack for maths and science, so despite being a bit rebellious for their tastes, she's clearly going to be alright and make it to college. As mentioned, Ginger's in a band, where she plays the drums, but she can also swap to guitar if needed. They're an alternative indie group that ranges from rock to pop, and made up of Ginger Snap the drummer, Sour Grapes the bassist, Sweet Grapes on keyboard, and their lead singer, Cherry Jam, a senior who's going to graduate this year and beginning to pick up traction for a possible music career. You'd think there'd be more of a creative split amongst them all, but Cherry really is the jam that sticks them all together and keeps the mood high and the music louder. But it's hard to hide the cracks on the surface, as everyone knows if she were to leave, they'll most likely end up breaking up. However, for the time being now, they'll enjoy the moments they have left together, before they just become some typical boring band performing at school events again. Ginger is also the most active of the cast, always on the go, either skateboarding with Huck, surfing with Strawberry's grandma, or even just boogie boarding on the beach by Cest Fresh, where she occasionally works part-time for the extra cash, especially if there's a new GameCube game coming out that she wants, but also mainly to keep Lemon company, since it must be nice having another girl around when she's surrounded by her brothers and dad constantly. And when it comes to Strawberry, I think the two would get along fairly well, with Ginger being that friend that she can come to and relax once in a while and get advice from, instead of always being the one that has to give advice. It'd make for a fun dynamic, while also giving her someone who eggs on her more rebellious and wild ideas that maybe Huck and Orange wouldn't encourage. As for Ginger's choice of communication, it'd be a Nokia N-Gage, something that can do the bare basics of call and texting, while giving her the opportunity to play video games on the fly, like Super Monkey Ball or Sonic. Not that they were the best versions of it, but I don't know, it's 2006, this is most likely revolutionary to people back then. And here's Ginger all finished up.
Sweet moves, Bloom! An entire army of evil robots reduced to scrap metal in less than 2 minutes. Nice.
And I think she looks great. I'm especially proud of how her hair turned out. It's like the right level of detail without distracting from the simplicity and cartoony look of the rest of the design. And the addition of the little gingerbread man on her hairband is just so cute. Her outfit looks one-to-one like her concept, which is great because I loved it. And I don't think the colours are as bad as I was expecting. However, like I mentioned at the beginning, I do make alternative versions, flipping the blue and yellow around. And yeah, I think the blue works a lot more, and reads a little more accurate to Ginger Snap as a whole. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Are you a fan of the pink and yellow, or the pink and blue? For our last two characters, they've been brought up and mentioned quite a few times already, even back in part 1. And being both strongly tied to one another, it only made sense to reveal them together. So, here's my concept for the Pudding Twins. The left being Plum Cake Pudding, or rather, as she prefers, Pudding. And the right being Plum Jelly Pudding, or as he prefers, Plum. And sometimes PJ when performing on stage. You're probably wondering why I divided one character into a set of twins. Well, this requires a small history on Plum Pudding. Despite being a girl in most generations, they were actually introduced to us as a boy, being the third male in the cast to Huckleberry Pie and the Purple Pie Man. Despite being a cute brainiac type character, I mean, look at him, he's just a little goober. He inevitably got retconned and changed into a girl, and was reintroduced back into the series as if nothing happened. While you think this might be an act of progressiveness or a confusing writing choice, it actually came down to the decision of the toy sales, specifically the fact that boy dolls didn't sell. In the original Kenner doll lines, despite Huck being present in the cast with the other core members, his dolls supposedly sold poorly, more so than I think Kenner expected, which led to the very early decision in the franchise that boy dolls aren't worth it. I mean, they even stopped making the Pie Man after a while, and I can't really think of much boy merch in later generations. However, instead of scrapping Plum as a character entirely, the decision was made to just make him a girl, then reintroduce her and open the door to more characters that could get toys, which seemed to have worked surprisingly. And for the most part, Plum has been a girl from the 2003 series and Berry Bitty Adventures. Yet, it was in Berry in the Big City that saw Plum brought back as a minor character, and suddenly, a boy again. This is all to say, Plum is a character whose gender is very interesting and different depending on who you ask. While most will say a girl, some know Plum as a boy, and others even go by the theory that Plum transitioned into a girl. As for me, I know Plum as a girl, but also knowing their history, I couldn't really make up my mind if I wanted to stick to the most common adaptation with a girl Plum, or mix it up and bring back boy Plum. Then I realized, this is my pitch. I don't have to choose, I can just do whatever I want. So, getting back on track, I did both, and they're now just twins. However, just because they're twins doesn't mean they're not their own unique people, so let's start focusing on them one by one. For Pudding's concept, I ran through so many ideas. I literally couldn't decide how to actually dress her. Plum Pudding is one of those characters that just has some really good designs and outfits going on, so trying to match their energy while adding my own spin was hard, man. How am I supposed to get close to something this peak even remotely? I tried dressing her cute and layered, academic, loose and flowy, and even preppy, just trying to make something unique and distinct from the others, but also remembering she's in a summery town so we don't want girl to overheat. But I eventually settled on this look, being a cropped puffy top, high-waisted and long-frilled skirt, loafers, and then accessories like glasses, a choker, and a bag. Not to mention her long and layered hairstyle with Plum hair ties. For colours, again, I was fighting for my life here, because Plum is a very funny character, being originally lilac, lavender, and blue, but then becoming this deep purple instead to be a little more accurate to a plum. But oh, don't worry, we still got the blue here for some reason. Also, there's greens that work with every design, but I don't understand how they work, because they're also not working here. I don't know, I was struggling again with this, so I just played it a little more simple and straightforward, giving her a purple top with lavender lilac skirt, and some green and reddish accents here and there, as well as trying to keep up the realistic hair colours, by making it look dark purple with lighter purple highlights and accents, almost trying to imitate the effect you see on dark hair colours like the Hex Girls. Despite the clothes making me work for this, I thought her base looked super cute, and I was really happy about that. But how about we finally get into her character now? Pudding is another one of Strawberry's new friends. I mean, shocker at this point, right? Girl has a lot of friends. She's introduced to our main berry through Huck, being one of the core members of his pre-existing friend group, and she takes quite a liking to Strawberry, specifically for the different vibe and aura she brought to Fizzle Cove. It's so calming, like a gentle spring breeze through the woods, and her chakra is so well aligned despite not even realizing. Yeah, Pudding's a little bit of a spiritualist type. Think Janice from the Muppets.
Hey Kermit?
Yeah?
There's a lecture on astral projection next Friday.
Oh, so you want the day off?
No, I'll be here. I just wanted you to know that I'll be there too.
Nothing wrong with it, and the gang love her free spirit and passionate energy, but she does sometimes catch them off guard, bringing up these concepts and never elaborating on it further for them. I mean, she's already found her inner peace. It's up to them to figure out theirs. This extends to her tarot readings. She's always got a deck ready on hand, tucked away in a plum pouch, which seems to always have whatever's needed for the occasion in there. And while giving the basics of your results, she's prone to withhold some information. As through the readings, she sometimes finds fate is just destined to play out, and would rather you not know that. Unlike her twin, Pudding is a little more loud and confident, always making her opinion known without fear of judgment, and willing to advocate for what she believes in, whether it be stopping hate, protecting the environment, or demanding the anime club be taken seriously in school. While a surprise to many, she doesn't hide a passionate love for the medium, thinking anime like Naruto, Peach Girl, and Sonic X are the coolest thing ever, and will go about consuming any genre as long as it's an anime. Because if it is, then it's gotta be cool and so mature, right? Yeah, she's still in her very early weeb stages, so her tastes and preferences are still developing. But she's got a keen interest in shonen, and she loves a good Sasanaru AMV or fanfic. It's to the point she's trying to learn how to draw anime to make her own fan comics, even asking Orange for help. Although Orange doesn't really get the style herself either, leading to some very interesting results. But that doesn't stop her backing down and believing that one day she can make her own manga. Spoiler alert, she won't. She also loves to craft and sew as a hobby. Not fashions and textiles like her stepbrother Bread, but more like charms and soft toys based off the various series and interests she has at the time. While she can get the job done using a needle and thread, things are a whole lot faster when Bread lets her use the sewing machine. He's always been a cool brother like that, and despite his snappy demeanour, she's always seen the best in him, even when they first started living together and he didn't leave his room much. While she didn't lose a parent like him, with her and Plum's parents just divorcing when they were young, she doesn't need to go through a life-changing experience to understand it's big and complicated. So why make it any more? She's just gonna be there and try and be his sister no matter what, especially defending him to others if they even dare to judge him. Their relationship is close enough that Bread even cuts her hair when asked, since no hair salon understands what she wants done when showing a picture of Asuka Langley from Evangelion. But he does, leading to a very unique and ahead-of-the-curve hairstyle. She's also close to her twin Plum, of course, being his voice whenever he's silent or needs standing up for. They're just your typical siblings. They get along fairly well despite their different styles of life and hobbies, and have their occasional fight when one or too many buttons get pushed. But at the end of the day, they still love each other and will have one another's back. Kind of like Bread, Pudding doesn't really have her own unique mode of transport either. She tends to go at her own pace and just walks a lot, taking the beauty of the city from its quieter nature sections and enjoying the view of the ocean whenever needed. And while not too big into sports, she does like to go swimming every other weekend, sometimes even with Lemon and Ginger, since they're always hanging out around the beach. Her phone of choice would be a Samsung Slider, like her brother, after getting matching ones for Christmas. While you may not see her use it very often, don't be fooled. She's an incredibly fast texter, probably due to her time spent on Plum's computer, chatting on various forums and having friends and mutuals all across the net and globe. And here's Pudding all finished up.
Aw, shoot! I really wanted to hear you guys. Oh yeah, check over by the TV. It could be worth a try.
And despite my hesitation, I think she looks really cute. While it was hard settling on a concept for her, I inevitably chose what I thought would look more interesting and distinct in the cast lineup. And I think her longer skirt and crop top jump out in a fun way. Plus, if she ever wants to avoid being written up at school for maybe showing a little too much stomach for whatever reason, she can just throw in a big flowy cardigan which matches her free spirit vibe anyway. Either way, I like her and hope you do too. Last but certainly not least, we're back to our other pudding twin, Plum. For his concept, I kind of nailed it very quickly, which didn't help when I was struggling so much with pudding. I wanted to have something a little more simple and typical Y2K, as I didn't think he'd experiment too much with his fashion like the others. And initially, he was going to have a t-shirt and shirt layered look going on, but I kind of already did that sort of style with Huck but inverted, so I just chose to make something a little cool, giving him a backwards flat cap with pins over his short spiky hair, a layered shirt effect partially tucked into his cargos, which lead down to some basic Converse, and I can't forget his favourite watch on his wrist. As for colours, his just work together fantastically. Despite having the same purple and violet as Pudding, his green cargos just tied everything together in a way that I was struggling with his sister, and I think it just makes for a solid design. But with that all explained, let's hop into his character. Plum is the last of Strawberry's new friends, being introduced to her via Huck, and probably one that she'd take the longest to get to know, being that he's rather quiet and more reserved than the others, including his sister. It's not that he hates her or anything, he's just a bit slower when it comes to making friends, preferring to show his affection through actions, and he just enjoys being around people, which you can usually tell by his little smile. Unlike Pudding, who's more down-to-earth and spiritualist, Plum's a realist, and he likes to keep things logical and collected. Always a clean room, ironed clothes, and a scientific explanation for how things could have happened. He even always has a watch on him to keep track of time and stay on schedule, so be careful when planning times to hang out with him, because he will hold you to the exact second of it. He tends to spend a bit of time on the internet on his own computer that he got as a special saved up birthday present, finishing his homework early and then researching various different topics that interest him, or he didn't even know about. He's just curious about the world and wants to learn more about it, and he shares the facts that he gathers with those close to him, as he loves hearing their input or opinions. But don't get it twisted, while he may seem like a bit of a typical nerd, he's much more of a music nerd, loving various genres like rock, metal, jazz, classical, jungle, and, well, anything he can pirate via Napster, as well as just the craft behind it all. It's something hard to describe, but he just resonates with the rhythm, and hopes to make music that resonates with others too. This is where the stage name PJ comes in, as Plum knows how to play guitar and piano, and has even played at a few talent shows, and even handling the behind-the-scenes stage engineering for school plays and assemblies. He even volunteers to engineer for Cherry Jam's band. 1, because he really enjoys their music and talent, and 2, because he was too afraid to actually audition himself. When it came to audition day, it seemed like mostly girls applied, making him think it was just a girl group. And so, panicking, thinking he looked weird and out of place, he changed his mind last minute, auditioning to be the engineer. Which worked, but it isn't the same as playing. But it does give him some insight to the group's dynamic, how they're all on the verge of splitting up once Cherry graduates and leaves, and seeing how Sour Grapes doesn't have the confidence to step up and take the lead, even though she could probably pull everyone together, and is much more talented than she might even realize. But he doesn't want to overstep boundaries, so unfortunately, he'll keep watching on the sidelines. He can usually be seen in the hallways with his sister Pudding as she goes on about issues she's having with a class or a project, or on rare occasions, his stepbrother Bread as he goes on about gossip and drama Plum's never heard a thing of. Being a bit of a perfect wall to talk to, as he's always happy to hear others just talk, and will never let slip any secrets entrusted to him. On the weekdays, him and Huck tend to go skateboarding in the park, or at least he skateboards around more casually, while Huck tries his best attempting to do multiple tricks on the ramps. But on the odd time, you can catch him on his own, where he's usually skateboarding in a clear direction for home, or the Cess Fresh Cafe, where he likes to sit and hang out. Mostly because he gets to see Lemon, who he might maybe sorta have a little crush on. When did this crush start to develop? No idea. Will he ever confess to her? I think he'd rather die than get that embarrassed. There's something about her dry-wit humor, headstrong attitude, and beauty that just melts him inside, and makes him go from being quiet to borderline mute, unable to muster any words around her. Not that it matters. Lemon doesn't entirely talk much around him either. They've got a sort of strange vibe of just enjoying each other's presence and feeling comfortable just sitting around chilling, or even texting one another. Although, Lemon has no idea about the crush, and just assumes he's bad at socializing without his sister around. For his phone of choice, like I mentioned previously, he's got a Samsung slider, exactly like his twin sister. However, unlike Pudding, who doesn't use it as much, he uses it a lot to text. As while he might be quiet verbally, it doesn't mean he's quiet digitally, sometimes using it as a method of communication when struggling to get a word into a conversation, or speak his mind when he's busy doing another task. Of course, he's also rather fond of email, but that requires him being at home and sat at his computer, which isn't going to happen very often if these characters are going to be fairly active and hanging out a lot. And here's Plum all finished up.
I can't even cook a simple recipe. It smells like a dog.
And I'm really happy about how he turned out. I don't draw guys very often on this channel, but I think he looks so cute. His colours are fantastic, his hair looks great, and I love how his accessories turned out, like his hat referencing his OG design with the 2 fruit pins on it, and the multi-pocket cargos. As well, I loved adding the little pencil behind his ear, as if he's always ready to take notes or write down to communicate to people. I do think maybe his shirt is a little generic, and I could have worked in some more music note motifs there, so boop. But that's the only slight tweak I wanted to make. Other than that, I think he's perfect, and I'm really happy with how he turned out, and I hope you like him too. Whew, that was a lot of characters to get through, but I really hope you guys enjoyed watching the video and like seeing me draw the remaining cast. My favourites of the lot definitely have to be Plum and Raspberry, but I'd love to hear who yours were, or maybe even how you would have done them down below. And just like last time, it's really unrealistic to expect an animated show to have these sort of detailed designs going on. I wouldn't wish animating this upon my worst enemy. So once again, I made simplified versions of the lot, and I think the shapeology of all of them looks so good, especially Pudding. I think she translated extremely well in the style, and is exactly what I was trying to go for with her main design. And once again, the textures and patterns over the characters will move around on a separate layer, similar to Chowder, so I wanted to make sure everyone had at least one interesting pattern going on. As for now, I think this little series is temporarily wrapped up, and going to rest for a little bit. I've covered the main core cast that I wanted, and I set up different plot lines and relationships for each of them, so any extra material I do will probably be side content you can see over on my socials. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Of course, I might always come back to this, as there's plenty of other characters I've set up and still yet to talk about. I mean, we heard a lot about Cherry Jam this time, but I'd also like to introduce some of the adults like the Berry's parents, or even some more antagonist figures like Headmistress Sour Grapes, or that shady business fellow that's terrorizing the community, Pie Man. But I don't want to keep promising follow-up parts when I already kind of got a big list of sequel videos I need to make as is. I swear I'm working through them. Winx Part 3, You Are Next, and Equestria Girls will be coming back. But if you're still looking for more of that Strawberry Shortcake redesign kick, I have some content I'd love to recommend, such as Dolly Dutchhound's Redesigning Strawberry Shortcake, which I feature in. And I swear, it's totally not me being biased here, it's a really good video and all the designs are great. Another one is Jazzy's creating Strawberry Shortcake characters, which mixes it up by actually adding new characters to the series, and they're all so well designed you have to see them. And last but certainly not least, Withluvtina's redesigning Strawberry Shortcake characters. And this was one of the videos that actually inspired me to try doing my own take on the Strawberry Shortcake characters. So very big love to this one, and I highly recommend it in supporting the creator. All videos I just recommended could be found listed down below in the description, or you can just put their titles into the search bar and find them yourself. I also want to give a big thank you to my sapling patrons for helping to support the channel, as well as give a big thank you to my squibbling patrons, Flora and Benry. With that, I hope you had a good day and a fun time watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time. See ya!